Hello, Stewart Carroll here from Drone Film Guide, the channel where we learn to fly like filmmakers, coming to you from a mystical foreign land where the sun shines in December. Definitely not Scotland then. So in a previous video we asked you to leave links to your work in the description so we could do a feedback video, look at some of your work and see what we could learn from that, so we could just have a chat and just generally improve our skills together as aerial cinematographers. So let's get into that now after a few clips from what we've been up to here in this fantastic place. First things first, thank you all so much for leaving the links to your work in the previous video. I'm not going to be able to get through every single piece of work here, but I've picked some that demonstrate some important points that we can all learn from, and I think it would be useful to look at this through the framework that we set out in our 8-hour drone cinematography masterclass for analysing drone work, where we talk about creating suspense by not laying all your cards on the table in the first shot. We talk about using motion to add interest to your shot. We talk about depth, creating layers, foreground, midground, background elements. We talk about using light to your advantage, the sun, and then fifthly we talk about composition and trying to make interesting storytelling frames that take your eye through the shot. And if we look at this first film by Dronographer here on Vimeo, I'll just start this off because this demonstrates beautifully pretty much all of those things I've just mentioned. Okay, so we've got a fade in here. Camera's tilted down, it's tilting up. We know that we're going to see something interesting, or we certainly expect to see something interesting. We see this beautiful light, low sun coming over those hills, the landscape is revealed. Dronographer, sorry I don't know your name, created suspense. Same this, look at this shot. We have depth with those trees in the foreground. We're sliding out from those trees to reveal this completely magical landscape with mists and beautiful sunlight coming in towards us. Notice that the shots aren't too long, so we're not bored. We keep watching these shots, we see them over and over again. Look at those foreground elements as we fly backwards through those trees, the depth and interest that takes your eye through the frame. We're mixing up the camera angles here, we're looking straight down at the ground here, back at the sun again. It's very important to keep your viewers' interest by keeping the shots fairly short, especially something like this. Technically speaking as well, we don't really have a story here. There's no real kind of beginning, middle and end, but it's okay because the footage is so beautiful, and the footage is so beautiful because of that light. I don't have the sound on here, but I remember that the music built here. We saw the train rushing through and the pace of the music sped up as well. So it was very nicely done to the music, and really for a drone showreel, this kind of captures everything that you want to try and achieve. So watch that film from start to finish. I think you'll enjoy it very much. Let's crack on with the next one. What I like so much about this next film by Higher Perspective is that we're combining ground camera work with drone work. So that brings in its own challenges. We have to match the kind of look that we've got from both the cameras. We have to find some kind of interesting way of combining the two so that each component is a useful storytelling device, if you want, and adds value here. Here we've got a promo piece, from what I can tell, for a holiday company that does running tours in the French Alps, essentially. And I won't play all of this, but what I will say is that you should watch it all from start to finish. The colours are the first thing that catch me here, actually. It's beautifully graded, so that kind of catches my eye straight away. These nice cool tones, cool winter tones, some kind of blues in there. Straight away we get into some drone shots, and look at the depth there, look at the depth there. The camera is purposely pointed in kind of sideways so we can see those hills in the background and get the parallax effect that comes from having foreground, midground and background objects. I'll scroll forward a bit here. As I say, watch it all from start to finish, but a little bit towards the middle, I think it is where we just get a whole series of fantastic drone shots here, about 1 minute 47 or so. Again, just because you can fly high doesn't mean you should. And a higher perspective, the guys that created this film just understand that perfectly. Flying in, shooting from the side, so you can see the runners, you can see the foreground and the midground, but you can also see the background, is just tremendous. The depth and the parallax effect that it's created, absolutely top notch. Love watching this film. I started with two very high quality examples there that are very hard to criticize. So let's look at an excellent piece of work here, but where there is room for improvement, and maybe help you join the dots between what I'm about to show you and the work that you've seen previously, so that I can help you understand how to go from here to here, if that makes sense. So with that in mind, let's look at Tomek Milowski. Apologies if I've made a terrible attempt of pronouncing your name. Ikola Park. Okay, let's start this. Beautiful opening shot, beautiful colours, beautifully exposed, technically pretty perfect. I'm very excited to see more. I think this is a great start. If I was being critical, I'd have liked to have seen maybe a tilt up just to kind of reveal the scene, because we're just bang, put straight into the scene. So a fade in, fade from black, a tilt up to reveal the location might have been helpful, just to help add to the storytelling nature of the shot. But nonetheless, it all looks very nice. The only issue I'm starting to sense here is that the shots are quite slow. We had two shots there that were almost identical with a cross dissolve in between. And now we have a change looking at these cliffs, flying sideways. Now, if memory serves correctly, let me scroll through this. Yes, this shot kind of sums up one of the problems we have as drone cinematographers. This is a single shot over a minute long. I'll just jump forward to 2 minutes. We're still going round and revealing this bay. Gorgeous though it is, it's very difficult to watch an uninterrupted 1 minute shot. I mean, this shot is still going. And the challenge as a kind of storyteller, filmmaker, from a drone showreel perspective, is we have to find a way of keeping the audience's attention. And the bottom line is that 1 minute shots, in fact, I think this is the same shot. This is almost a 2 minute unbroken shot. I don't think many people are going to make it past the first minute of this film, in all honesty. Which is a pain, because you've created this gorgeous shot and we're continuing to fly around. We are revealing more and more of the landscape, but it just doesn't hold the attention. Everything else is pretty great, in all honesty. I love the colour grade, I love the colours themselves of the image, the colour of the water, the colour of the trees. It's a nice kind of complementary balance. The lighting's great, the sun's in the right position, we don't have any blown out elements, the exposure's good. Everything's pretty great, but it just leaves us a little bit cold watching the same shot for over a minute. Depth. Now, in fairness to Tomek, later on there are some nice shots that create some depth, but in all honesty, most viewers will have switched off by then. So if I play this at about 4:15, look at this, we've got a foreground element here. We're flying in from behind some cliffs. We're kind of dying to see what's over there, to see that bay. Lighting here is good, there's not much we can add to it. I mean, you have to kind of take what you get sometimes when you're flying a drone. You don't always get absolutely magical golden hour light, but that could have been an opportunity for improving. Who knows, maybe later that day it was absolutely perfect, blissful golden hour light like we saw in the first film I showed you. And composition wise, I'd say the composition is pretty good in some of these shots, but I am noticing there a squinty horizon. Little details like that, you can correct that in post. So there's some room for manoeuvre to take with you to your next film and hopefully grow there. I think what I'll do, so that you can see the contrast between the 3 clips and an example of how we would do things, is I'll show you the montage that we use in the editing section of our drone cinematography masterclass. In that we give you actually clips so that you can practice yourself, and we take you through an edit. We try and explain some of these kind of notions of keeping the pace fast, editing to the music, using sound effects, just loads of techniques to try and keep the viewer focused on your film in the hope that they'll make it to the end. And that will give you some kind of reference when we then talk about the next couple of clips. And just like that, I think we are done. So let's just have a little watch through this, just make sure everything is going to plan and everything looks right. Let's play this. Okay, our title comes in, we had the fade from black, we've got the letterbox. Boom, we're on time with the music. Looking quite nice, in comes the car. Zoop, speed ramp there, coinciding with the music. All the cuts on the beat, I like this, another speed ramp there. Okay, this clip was trimmed properly, we've done that already. This one was repositioned. Okay, we messed around with that one as well. Beautiful shot of this church. We know that this is timed with the music. Boom, love it, awesome. Bird's eye, tractor. That was speeded up 2 times, this was speeded up 4 times. Here comes the speed ramp. There's no one-size-fits-all approach for editing something like that, and that was extremely intense. I do acknowledge that, and it won't always be appropriate for what you might be doing, but the bottom line is the goal is to get your viewer to watch until the end of your clip and to take in the message that you're trying to convey. Whatever that is, you know, just trying to prove to the world that you're a good filmmaker, or you're trying to sell a product on behalf of yourself or on behalf of a client that you're working for. You have to keep the eyes on that video, whether you like it or not. And it's a real pain because we've done some great shots here on this trip, and then you get them back and you're like, this shot is 30 seconds long. I'm more than happy to just sit back and watch it because I think it's fascinating. But you're not going to watch 30 seconds of that shot, and you have to cut it back to 3 seconds. It's quite frustrating, but it's the reality of the situation. Anyway, let's crack on with the next clip. What I like about this clip by Smart Mod is it's a commercial activity here, promoting these kind of modular caravan-y type extension outbuildings for this company. And we're not relying on the French Alps as your backdrop, or Glencoe as we have the luxury of filming in from time to time. So this is not about the beauty of the landscape, this is about using the drone to help tell the story of the construction of these items or the installation, and presumably to get customers interested in buying these things. We've got tons of cool camera movement here, loads of angles. We're not just flying up high and pointing straight down. There's a real understanding here that just because you can fly high doesn't mean you should. We've got a time lapse here. I'm guessing this is done on a ground camera. Not necessarily, but we've got a variety of techniques going on here with ground camera work and with drone camera work, and I just think it's really great. In all honesty, the colours are good. Here we've got some inside shots as well, you know, showing the product. So I'll pause that now because you get the idea. But it's nice to see the drone being used to add value to a commercial piece of work. And again, not just from a distance, not just from up there looking down at these tiny little Smart Mod apartments, but from down close, getting in amongst it. And I found that quite a captivating piece of work, and quite different from what I'm used to doing myself as well, because we tend to just shoot these big landscapes and all that kind of stuff. So this is nice, you know, it's good to see. Good piece of work. I'll finish up with this piece of work from Living Mexico because you'll enjoy seeing this location. It's really one of the more impressive sights that you'll see with a drone. And what I like very much, I'll start playing this. What I like very much is that the creator has done their best to tell a bit of a story here. We don't just beast straight in with the shot. But ultimately we're building towards some waterfalls, some spectacular waterfalls. So we're kind of going on a journey here with, I don't know if that's the drone hanging out the side of a window or a little GoPro stuck to the side of a car. We've got some time remapping here. We're speeding up the footage. I always like that. I think that's cool. Slightly funny transition in what looks like some fake slow motion here, which kind of isn't ideal if I'm honest with you, but again, some more these kind of swoosh transitions, which aren't necessarily to everyone's taste, but look at this kind of reveal round to the side over the edge of this pretty cool suspension bridge. And now we're starting to get a sense of the location that we find ourselves in. Now, by this point, I'm kind of eager to see where this is going. So I would say, let's get into the money shot. And so what I'll do is I'll just skip forward at 57 seconds there. I'll skip forward to where we want to really see. I want to show you this shot. About 120. We're talking about creating depth and sense of motion and parallax and all this kind of stuff. Wait till you see this. Here we are flying over the edge of a waterfall. Wow. And we've got a little time remapping there as well, which is pretty cool, especially if you combine that technique with the music. That can be a nice technique, and we get this pretty dizzying view over the side of the waterfall. A nice reveal here from the side. That time remapping didn't really work for me there. It was a bit fast and a bit kind of all over the place, so that didn't really work. Again, more of those kind of zoomy transitions, but the location is absolutely stunning here. Absolutely fantastic. So very nice stuff there. I think, with a little bit more of a refined edit, in all honesty, that's a really, really good piece of work. I mean, this is 3 minutes 16 long, and some of these clips are quite long because you want to see them all tilting down here. We see a waterfall at the bottom of the rainbow at 2:28 there. Or see a rainbow at the bottom of the waterfall, I should say. Gorgeous stuff. I'd try and cut that video back to about half the length, to be honest with you, and then I think you'd have a very strong, powerful piece. But I love what's been done there with the storytelling, and technically these drone shots are very, very good. I've not seen any of the typical pitfalls of overexposed water or overexposed clouds or anything like that. We've got some lovely light, shadows creating depth in these images, and look at that. I mean, you could film all day long there. Absolutely gorgeous. Good stuff. If you do find yourself looking at your piece of work and saying, I like it, but I just don't understand why it doesn't quite look like Stewart and Alina's from Drone Film Guide or something else that I've seen on the internet, then take our 5-step framework from the Drone Cinematography Masterclass. Suspense, motion, depth, light and composition. Go through those 5 elements. If you really want to get into it into more detail, check out our Drone Cinematography Masterclass. There's a link in the description with the discount code embedded. It's been a very successful course that we launched April last year. A lot of people have benefited greatly from it, and the feedback has been pretty excellent on it. So I think you will benefit greatly from the relatively small investment in that, and really take your work from here to here, because all of you have the foundation required to produce some of the finest work on YouTube. As we keep talking about, it's not about the gear. It's not about the gear. It's what you do with it. As long as your drone meets a certain standard, it's not about that. It's about what you do with it. Anyway, stay in touch. Leave your comments below. We have more content coming very soon, and we will see you next time on Drone Film Guide.